What is up, everybody?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
Back to another episode of Pizza Bagels.
Pizza Bagels.
Mm-hmm. Tomboy, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. We got a fun special guest on. This should be a real fun story for you guys today. My good old pal Ian. Say hello.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, you got to come
Ian?
closer to the
Yeah.
mic.
Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That's
Hey,
how, that's
get
how microphones work.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna bite.
Yeah. So Ian and I have known each other for quite some time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Long time. More than a decade.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe a couple of
Oh,
decades.
when was it when you and Gallagher lived on Lewis?
back when?
Was that Lewis?
Yeah, that was like almost, it was like 19 years ago. Yeah.
Because I think I might have been at the Bunt's house at that point. I definitely was,
Yeah.
because you came over for parties though. So, geez, yeah, it was
Oh,
a
yeah.
long time. Well, I guess to get right to it, let's see. This is 2013. Well, 2012, I had a buddy that was living in California, and he was going through a divorce. He gives me a call, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm going through a divorce." Got it. And then he's like, "You want to move out here and move in with me?" And I was like, "Damn, that sounds awesome."
Good guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Great guy.
LaRouche,
Yeah.
a little shout out for you. So I was like, "Dude, that sounds awesome. Like, let's fucking do it." And I was like, "Sure, I'll save up some more money." It was like, my job sucks. I don't have a girlfrend anymore. Like,
Yeah,
let's
it's
fucking
perfect
go.
time to go
Yeah.
if you're gonna go.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was it. Do it here, do it there. What's the matter?
Right. And so I think we were about 26 at the time, I'd say, like that mid-20s. I don't remember exactly what.
That's when you don't remember, the mid-20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. Yep. So I basically quit my job. I got money saved up, and I had this really shitty Jeep Cherokee, I think it was.
You pulled it together. It all happened so quick, right?
It did. It really did. Yeah, yeah. I think it might even been like my sister's like old Jeep, and she's like, "I got a new car. You can just have this one."
No, I remember this. So it was like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or something. You got it, and you were like, "No, it's totally cool. My dad's gonna check it out." And then like
Was that what it was?
that was yeah. And your dad wasn't able to check it out, so he like took it to somebody like the Sunday before we were leaving, and he's like, "Yeah, it's all good." And we're like, all right, well, you know, all right, he took
sounds
it to
good.
a
That
guy.
sounds
Yeah,
dangerous.
okay. Oh yeah. All right, that sounds about right. Okay, all right, I do remember this.
It was like $500 or something. You got to steal it, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't much.
Yeah. No, I think it was my sister's car, but he was still taking it somewhere to get
Okay.
checked out. So I technically
Just to
got
make
it
sure it
for
would make
free.
it.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
like, this is what we're taking. So I basically sold a bunch of my shit and gave others away, and
all the rest in that Jeep.
right. And I had a big fucking going away party, and in the midst of all that, Ian's like, "Hey man, can I come with you?"
Well, yeah. I mean, you threw it to me at a party or something, and I was like, "That's insane, Tony! Like, you wanted to just drive across the country?" And you're like, "Yeah, you know, just all of it." And I'm like, you know, it's sad to see you go, but I was teaching then, and I had spring break off. That was my spring break.
Oh, okay, so you were
And-
gonna just go and then fly back or
Yeah,
whatever, right?
yeah.
that was the plan.
That was the
Hey,
plan.
that's perfect way to do it because like you get to go party and enjoy the road trip and
Yeah.
then go back to the
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Enjoy, well-
As I use finger quotations.
I figure it's a long story.
Looking back,
Yeah.
I'm actually happy that I wasn't by myself.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
sorry.
man.
Go
Yeah.
on.
No, yeah. So it was crazy. And my girlfriend at the time, now wife Megan, was like, "That's insane." And I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna totally do it. We're gonna get out there as soon as possible." LaRoche has got a pool slide, and I'm showing her the
Oh,
pictures of the
yeah.
house. Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna be on this pool slide in California this time next week, you know, and it's crazy, but I think it's gonna work.
Oh yeah. So what was the initial trip? Like a week?
Well,
To get
I think it was. Well, I don't remember how much time you had taken off, but I think by the way we were basically judging it, by taking turns driving while one sleeps, that like we were able to probably get there in like 4 days, maybe.
Yeah, well, I had just like started shopping at Costco, and they had this box of 5-hour energies, and I was still doing those back then. And I was like, dude, if I drink them, you know, you sleep, I'll sleep when and we'll make
just
it there.
fucking
yeah.
go. Yeah,
We'll go.
we can get there in like 3 to 4 days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
not like you're like,
25
all right, I'm gonna stop here and then we're crashing.
No, we had no plans on like staying in a
Nowhere.
hotel at all. Yeah, it
Damn.
was just gonna be like we'll sleep in the car if we have to,
Yeah.
or take turns.
We're
Like,
gonna Just go.
Hell yeah.
2,500
Cleveland to
miles,
California.
and let's just fucking go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I was in flip flops. I had like a light jacket with me, but like shorts, shirt, and flip flops because I was ready for California.
Well, yeah, warm weather says you leave the East Coast. You're
Yeah,
fine.
it was spring break, so I'm like, it's just gonna get nicer.
The worst thing it's going to do
Right.
is rain. You know?
That's
Yeah.
what we thought.
Exactly.
Oh.
That's what we thought.
Oh,
That's
God.
what we thought.
Hence why it's a long story.
Tomboy and all the listeners, sit back and have a beer right now while you're listening to this because it's about to get cray bananas,
It
as
is.
they say.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, yeah, that was it. He's like, fuck yeah, let's go. And he put a whole California soundtrack together.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, let's go, pulling out of the driveway, and we're listening like, California,
No doubt.
here
about
we
it.
come.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anything wrote. So, Red Hot
yeah,
Chili Peppers, all
everything,
the Beach Boys.
yeah. Yeah, and
So ready.
what was the one that you were just doing? What was the one you were just singing?
California.
Oh, Tupac.
Yeah.
And
Tupac.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, California Love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a whole soundtrack, and we were on our way,
Oh, yeah.
having a great time. We're like, all right, cool. Oh, there's the Ohio border.
Yeah.
And what was next was we went into
Oh, yeah.
Illinois, or was
So-
it Iowa first?
Yeah, on this timeline, it was
And let the listeners know, you actually print out a whole timeline.
Oh yeah,
Which is
for
way
the
awesome
the
for-
listeners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause so you're not going to forget anything. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
even. There's also this. Yeah, you,
You-
have like
you
the
brought your
map
prep,
on
dude.
top too.
Usually it's like, oh, yeah, that happened, then I don't remember the timeline of like,
Yeah.
when this happened, but yeah, you actually brought a timeline.
Well,
so-
Tony hit me up to do this, and I was like, if we're gonna do it, we gotta do it right. Like, there's
Right.
just so much. It was insane. Like, it's a whole lifetime.
These are
of
most
stories.
well prepared guests. in
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, this is definitely. I'm
Usually we're just
actually-
winging it, you know, as we go.
No, 5 p.m. on 3/4. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
so Indiana was first, right?
Indiana was first, yeah. But that first picture, though, like the car was jam packed. I can't
Oh
go
yeah.
over that enough because that comes back to haunt us when we're in the Rockies.
Oh yeah. That's where it really comes
Yeah,
down
that's where
to.
it got
Oh, I
insane.
see.
Yeah, because we're like, let's just fucking. It was like playing Tetris, getting
Yeah.
everything into this vehicle.
You're packing your whole life up.
Yeah.
You know, you're moving
Does
across the
Tomboy have
country.
one of these?
Yeah.
Get one of those at Tomboy, so you can.
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
so
thank
you
you,
can
thank
take
you.
a look and kind of keep along.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
And
That
we
makes
will like listeners. We will on YouTube if you want to check it out. It'll be up there.
We'll
be,
post the pictures.
Tomboy will put all these photos up as we're talking about them.
Yeah.
So Indiana was our first. We got to Indiana,
We got
right?
to Indiana.
And that was the first the down spiral of the things, right? It was just the start of the.
It was. I think it was pretty good up until like the Mississippi, right? It was
Okay,
like,
so
yeah.
we got through Indiana.
Yeah,
Then it was in
Indiana, Illinois.
Illinois.
I want to say because Illinois was the last before that long stretch when you start to get out west. It's
Mm-hmm.
just nothing. And yeah, it was like all fun and games up to that point. Like we were, we thought
It's-
we were gonna have a great trip,
Right.
and then
It starts to get like dark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Before
After Chicago, there's like nothing.
yes, there isn't, and it was the car was not the best, right?
No, it was.
One giant crack across the windshield, a couple other ones here and there to fill
But
it
it's all
out.
right.
It was-
He said it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. It was also like pretty rusted too.
Yeah, so rusted. If you're driving, you could see through to the road. Like
Oh,
down
good.
by the pedals, I recall that you
Oh,
could
there was
see
a
the
hole
road.
there, yeah, that
Yeah.
was rusted out, and you could see the road
You
down
could
there.
see the road under you.
Like hindsight, we shouldn't have taken this vehicle.
No, not at all.
Then we wouldn't be here today for the story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad you made it through.
yeah, no, dude, for real. So yeah, I think the first thing was it starts getting dark, and we're still having fun, but like still kind of tired, but like we're working our way through it.
Yeah.
Then the lights on the dashboard and
That
then the
was it.
radio and everything starts blinking.
Blinking.
And, we're
Oh,
like-
shit.
and I'm driving, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on
And
here?
there's like a little bit of a like click to it too,
Like Like the battery's about to
the
go.
battery's about
Yeah.
to go. And why does a battery lose its power? Because it's getting spent and it's not going back. And I like for years had bought like cheap cars. Like my first car was from a police auction,
Mm-hmm.
and so I had to fix it up. There was like somebody killed in the backseat or something. And
Sorry in itself.
yeah. And so I'm used to this. I've gone to junkyards, picked parts, and I'm like, I know what this is. It's the alternator, and I've done this. I fixed this on a car before. My background is not in mechanics, but you learn a thing or two. And so I was like, Tony, we got to pull off and get like check. This was early smartphones.
yeah.
And I was
we
like-
didn't really have like that kind of internet yet as
Yeah.
we do now. This is I had like 2013.
Yeah.
So just think about what smartphone you had back in 2013 and what kind of internet your phone actually had. Like,
Yeah.
I remember using my PS3 just to be able to sign into my
Yeah.
Facebook or MySpace.
Because it was just better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so we were driving and we were waiting like 5 minutes for pages to load, and we're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is what we're gonna have to do on
And I
this
remem-
kind of car.
I remember you saying we passed a Walmart and
Yeah.
the exit right past us. So let's get off of this one and then we'll turn around, get back on the highway, and then we'll hit that Walmart.
Yeah. And that was the plan, like, at least because it was getting late, at this point we're past the Mississippi, we're heading out west, and it was hit that AutoZone. Let's get an alternator for your car, the one we need. If we don't need it, when we get to California, we'll return it or whatever. But let's just have it just in case. And Tony's like, I got tools. We brought tools with us.
Yeah. So, well, first off, that we get off the exit, and as soon as we're getting on the off ramp, like right before we hit the light, the car fucking dies.
Oh god.
So we're like, motherfucker.
And people are behind us.
yeah, because you're
so-
on the ramp. It's like,
Right,
can't
yeah.
get
At
off
the
ramp.
stoplight, yeah. And we're dead in the water. So
Yeah, you
somebody
can't
comes
push
over,
the car and-
right, jumps us, and then we fucking haul ass and get back on the highway. We
That was
get to
crazy.
that Walmart, but the auto area was closed.
Yeah.
So we're like,
Oh.
fuck. So we had to again, wait and load up pages to find a fucking AutoZone, which we did.
Yeah.
We got there and we're like, we don't know what the problem is. They checked the battery, they checked the alternator, like everything seems good.
Yeah.
And then you're like, just buy an alternator
Let's
just
just do
in
it.
case,
Yeah.
and some extra tools.
Yeah. Yeah, because he brought he's like, I got tools. I'm like, oh, cool. We're pro left. What do we have? What do we need? And he's like, I got a hammer. I'm like, we don't need a hammer.
No. Yeah, this is
Hopefully you don't
random.
need a
like, no
hammer.
hammer.
Yeah, it was like random tools.
But-
I'm like,
Yeah.
I got,
There was like a wrench that like a channel lock, like a spanner wrench, and it was everything we needed. It
Yeah.
did so much, except for some tools we had to borrow later on the trip. But
we'll get to that.
yeah, we'll get to that.
So we get there, we buy the alternator, and we're like, okay, I mean, I guess if it's working, then we're fine. Let's just go.
Yeah,
So
it
we
started back up.
Yep.
We got the jump, and it was all good.
So we fucking headed back off. And then we get to a point, I don't even remember what the time difference from there to there was, but
Yeah.
I know by the time that it started happening again,
Yeah.
the alternator was bailing out again. We got off the highway, made it into a gas station, got to stopped at a gas pump,
Yeah,
and
it was like a marathon or something in the middle of
Right.
Iowa.
Yeah, and then we popped open the hood, just trying to kind of take a look, and it's also kind of it's like bat signal kind of
Oh,
a
you're
sort of
taking
thing.
me back there right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then so while we're looking at it, some fucking weird.
family. You talking about the
No,
weird,
the guy.
Oh,
What's the family?
There was like a weird family in the store, and they were like buying food and eating it in the store, and it was like the middle of the car started dying, and it was straight up nothing Iowa. Like there was nothing. We had to wait like 10 minutes before we saw lights again, and we
So
got off
Iowa.
the highway.
Yeah.
So Iowa.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And snow's coming down, and it's like cold and dark, and it wasn't like heavy snow, but it was coming, and and yeah, I just
it was
remember-
definitely super cold.
We
It
was-
was getting cold.
Yeah. I remember we were just stuck there so long, like we were weirded out by the family that was hanging out in the gas station. They were weirded out by us, like with our car problems.
Yeah. Now, was this the gas station where we saw that danger dog at?
No, that's later. The
Okay.
danger-
All right. Then I'll save that
Yeah.
for later. Okay. So, anyways, this fucking weird hillbilly guy.
Hillbilly guy, he pulls up in like an old blue like Ford Escort station wagon.
It was multicolored,
Yeah,
like
it
like
was.
shitty.
And the back window was smashed out. You remember this?
Yeah, and also the trunk was using a wire coat hanger.
He had a wire coat hanger on the trunk, and he had a wooden door mounted in the broken rear window.
So random car doors and then
Yeah.
a wooden door,
Oh,
not
yeah.
a window. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
He's the mayor of Iowa.
Yeah. He shows up and he's like, "What's going on here, boys?" And we're like, I think that our alternator's fucked, so we're gonna probably have to change this." He's like, "Oh, hold on." He's like, "I got tools."
Yeah. And he
And-
was doing that thing like cowboys do, where he like sits at one heel and moves to the other heel, and like the whole time he was talking, he was like shuffling his boots.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a cowboy thing.
Yeah. So then he walks over to this abomination of a car.
Oh, yeah.
And then pulls out this wire hanger, lifts up the trunk, and instead of grabbing some tools and bringing them over, he starts taking tools and flinging them across the parking lot.
Yeah.
Where Ian and I have to literally stopping them with our feet
Yeah.
Yeah.
to be like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?"
Well, he wasn't all there. He,
No.
he was not in
Clearly.
the full yeah. But he's like, but my dad's a mechanic, and I've got my dad's tools. I'm like, oh, well, tools are tools. What do you got?
Yeah. And then so eventually we're like, let's get out of this gas pump in case somebody actually needs it. We push the car up to like a parking spot right in front of the store. And so then we open it up and he's like fucking around with some stuff and like 5-10 minutes goes by and he's like, "Ah, shit. I need this tool. I forgot that at my house. I'll be right back.
It was crazy because I got it so far already. It
Yeah.
was like we had the new alternator in and hooked up. There was just there's like a mounting bracket to it, and the one bolt on this '95 Jeep Cherokee, it was so long. You needed like a deep well socket to get it all the way down there.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's like we don't want to really get back on the road and have this all happening. Like we only have
It's
one
gonna fall
alternator.
apart, yeah.
yeah. And so, he's like, yeah, I got that deep well socket back home, and we're like, all right.
But then he leaves and he's gone for 5-10 minutes and comes back and he's like jacked up, dude. And then he's like, all right, yeah, I got this, dude. He's like, we're gonna fucking do this, dude. This is gonna be awesome. And then he like starts fungling around with it, and then he goes, well, no, this is the wrong bit. I'm gonna have to go back to the house. Like after another like 10 minutes, I'm like, what the fuck?
And I'm like, Tony, let's get the fuck out of here, man. Like, we'll just go to the next town. It's almost sunrise.
Right.
We've been working on the car in the dark. My hands were like bloody.
we went inside the gas station, to like warm up.
Yeah.
Because at this point it's like 1 to 2 a.m. or later.
Yeah. And snowing.
Yeah.
And
it's just it's
fierce
starting
winds.
it was cold.
Yeah.
So we finally, the guy's gone again for the second or third time. We're like, fuck it, let's just get this fucking thing in there. So I get underneath, Ian's on top, and we fucking managed to get it. And the guy shows up. He's like, oh, did you guys get it? And we're like, yeah. And I was like, oh shit. Ian's like, what? And I like find some piece of like the bracket or something. I go, we forgot to put this on.
Yeah. It was like one of the long bolts. It wasn't like really actually in.
Something, yeah. And the guy goes, well, listen, it's fucking freezing here. You guys can like follow me back to my house. You can use the shop to go ahead and put this in. You can
His
warm
name
up
was
for a few.
was Biker Scott, is what we called him when I posted these on Facebook back when it was really happening as it was unfolding. He went by Biker Scott. By
Oh
the way.
man, see, I didn't even remember that. I'm glad
Yeah.
you have that written down.
Yeah.
So we're like, is this a good idea, dude? This guy's weird.
He was,
But
yeah.
he's helping you out too.
He's helping
us
out.
Right.
But he was coked out, and he kept like after that he was talking about all these drugs. Like, come on, do these drugs. Come on, we got these drugs.
Yeah.
My dad's got these drugs. And I'm like, I don't really want to do
Yeah,
drugs
well,
with
listen,
your
we're just
dad.
trying to do this. So we're like, all right, listen, we'll follow you, and like we'll just fucking take 10 minutes, warm up, we'll do this. This is the dumb. We should have done this. I mean, we survived, but this is so dumb. So
Yeah. Oh
we're
my God.
we're following this guy through this weird neighborhood. We do come across a bar called Chainsaw Willie's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the sign for the bar looks like somebody actually just took a knife and just carved it into a piece of wood. Like
That's
that's their
or a
bar sign.
chainsaw. You know.
Yeah.
Or a chainsaw. Yeah, that would make more sense.
Hey.
But we pull into this guy's house.
Yeah.
And there's just
It was one of those little country towns, There's
Yeah.
just state route, whatever. And
Yeah.
then it was like a
House
couple
in
of
the middle of
buildings.
nowhere, yeah.
And he had a big house. He had this big garage here shown in the
this
pictures.
giant barn.
Yeah.
But there's just like broken down cars and car parts and just random shit all over the yard. So we get out. We walk into the house.
He was
It's him.
insistent, like, you guys, come on, take a shower. You get all that grease all over your hands. You're cold. Come warm up. And we're like,
He's like, yeah, you guys can nap. Nobody's here.
Yeah.
But we
Oh,
walk in
yeah.
there. The house is very hoardish.
We went through the back door, and
Yeah.
the first, which was weird, but first thing we saw was the kitchen.
Yeah.
And like there was several gallons of milk out, like ready to go.
Mhm.
Like milk bar, like
Yeah.
what's going on here? And there was like newspapers like bundled and stacked, and the sink was
moldy
like,
ass bread.
so much
Oh
moldy
yeah.
ass bread. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember turning around because I was behind the guy, looking back at Ian, going like, "We fucked up."
Yeah, this is crazy. Like
Yeah.
nobody knows where we are.
No.
Like he's far enough away from the other people's houses. Like he's gonna kill
This
us.
is a horror
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the time of like House of a Thousand Corpses and whatnot. Like
Yeah.
And so that's my mindset. It's
Yeah.
like, it's not looking good.
But we were like so cold and
Yeah.
whatnot. So we walk into the living room and he's like dusting chips off the couch. He's like, "Sit
Yeah.
down. You guys warm up." I remember there was like one of those. What are those like little trays that people
Yeah,
use
like a
to have
TV
like
tray.
like a
TV
TV
tray.
tray? Yeah, was sitting there against the couch, but there was like baggies, like lunch baggies, sandwich baggies full of bullets, like on the
Bullets.
floor.
and he shows it to me, and like my jaw drops.
Yeah.
Like all the color runs out of my face. I'm like, where
Almost-
are we? What's going on?
Almost
Yeah.
like he's like, "You try to run, boy, and
yeah.
you're gonna get one
Look
of these."
what I got.
Yeah, almost like an intimidation
Yeah. This
or
is
or
really
we're giving you a
happening.
baggie full of bullets
thing.
to go on your way.
Yeah. He could have been. Yeah,
And
It's
I
the
was,
policy.
Yeah.
you need them out here.
yeah.
But I remember I sat back. It was one of those like old school like 1970s couches with like the wooden like headboard at the top.
Yeah, and like in
and-
the arm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I slid back, and in the seats were more Ziploc baggies of bullets, and I
Yeah.
felt that with my hands, and I knew, without looking, and we're like, shit,
Yep.
we got to get out of here.
He's like, guys should chill. take a nap. He's like, I got to run to my mom's
take
house.
a
I got to
nap.
pick up. Yeah. He's like, I got to pick her up some cigarettes. I got to pick up a trailer. No
Yeah.
one's here. Have a nap. But then within 5 minutes, some kid walks out, like
Yeah.
a teenager. I'm like, there is somebody here. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Where
And we're like, no,
are
like, we're good.
we?
We're like, we're just gonna go outside. We're gonna fix this, and we're on our way. Like,
Yeah.
thank you.
At that point, I was like, I'm not taking anything from this guy. We're gonna go in the garage. We're gonna
Yep.
find that tool. Like, I don't need to sit on the couch. Like, we fix this, or we drive off without it. Like, it was too weird.
Yeah. And so that's what we did. We fucking got out there. We fucking fixed it up, and then we fucking took off.
Started looking around in the garage, and he was like, he started doing coke right there in front of us.
Yeah.
And
That's where everyone like, well, this is why he was fucking jacked up the whole time, going
Yeah.
back and forth.
Mm-hmm. And so we got that last tool, and he was he didn't want us to go. Like, he really wanted to like
Hang out. He wanted to party.
lonely
Yeah.
or crazy.
It was
but-
high on
Both?
coke, so he's
Yeah.
like, let's fucking
Yes.
party, dude.
Both.
You gotta talk to me.
Yeah, and at this time the sun was like just starting to come up, so it's like
course,
now like
yeah.
7, 8 a.m. or something like
But
that.
I needed that sunrise because I
Yeah.
felt like it was all gonna get better. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the sun's
because
coming up.
when
The
you watch
lights
those,
in the end of the tunnel, literally.
yeah, and when you watch those horror movies, like when the sun's coming up
Yeah.
is at the end, and
And
like
the movie,
everything.
it's like, all right, you made it. Yes,
Wait,
you made it
yeah.
through the night.
yeah.
Yeah, so then we left from there.
Fuck that. Hit the road.
Yeah, we're like, let's get the fuck out of here. Okay, so let's see. What do we have here on your thing? So we did the alternator.
I was
There's
laughing-
Biker Scott's. Oh, the motel.
Motel. I
Okay,
was
go on.
laughing with Megan about this. Like, there's one. You would think one kind of person that checks into a motel at 9 a.m. and leaves by 5 p.m. And that was Tony and I. Like, and never have I ever checked into a hotel like for the day shift.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
yeah, because we tried calling in places and everyone's like, no, it's like a whole night or
Yeah.
fuck off. Like
Yeah.
we don't do by the hour.
We just
Yeah, you got to find the sleazy the motel that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
somebody
like
just
we got an hourly rate.
cook-
yeah,
yeah.
got a couple
hookers.
of gay dudes coming in
Yeah.
here. They need about 8 hours.
Yeah, I mean,
Bang
that's what
that
they were looking
shower.
at us. I mean, we're in the middle of Iowa, and they're
Yeah.
like, these two guys from the city. You know?
Yeah.
they're all greasy. What's going on?
Couple of city boys.
yeah.
Give you guys a sweetheart room.
Yeah, but that was it. We just took a shower and passed out.
Yeah, we were totally like greased up and
I don't
disgusting.
blame you.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
can't
was
see
actually
it in this picture,
surprised.
but we were filthy.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they let us. You know what's funny too? I remember at some point I was so exhausted. We went past a La Quinta hotel, and you're like, "Hey, you know La Quinta is Spanish for the sun?" I was like, "Oh shit, really?" And you're like, "No, retard." And I was like, "Oh, I know Spanish. I know sol is for
Yeah,
sun.
sol.
But you know what? I have no sleep and I'm fucking out of my fucking mind."
Hey, you can sell anybody.
Yeah, you got me.
I got a baggie full of bullets. You want to buy some?
Okay, so yeah, so we finally got some sleep.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, let's keep going. So I think we had it good really all the way till.
Yeah, because once we did the repair, it was pretty smooth.
Mm-hmm.
But then more happened.
I remember definitely like hitting around like the different canyons and shit, blasting music, Red
Yeah.
Bulls and all that.
Yeah.
Was there anything between there and Colorado?
Nebraska with like 7 hours of nothing. It was like the worst. It was like a torture to drive through Nebraska.
Okay.
It was like, oh my gosh, like we got to get on this trip. We got to get moving. We got to get to California.
Mm-hmm.
It's still
Nebraska was just it took us
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
But we got all the way through with nothing happening.
Yeah,
though, right?
nothing happened. Just smooth driving through Nebraska.
Okay, we made it through
Yeah.
Nebraska. So then it gets into
The mountains.
the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
Again, I'm driving.
Yeah.
And mind you, so the car is just fucking jam-packed with all this stuff, right?
Yeah,
and
so
we
heavy.
have to go up this hill. It's nighttime.
It's a mountain.
yeah, like a very steep mountain road.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like it felt at one point like it's also like still like snowing
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
it's icy and then like we felt like we might not be able to make it up here even though we're in like this like Jeep.
Yeah, because we're a couple of city boys again, and
Yeah.
there's like no shoulder. You're driving through the
Oh.
Rockies, and it's guardrail like in the air. Somehow, like you're driving over the air,
Yeah.
and people are whizzing by you. Locals or
It
whatever.
was wild. But by the time we started getting up towards the top, I remember you being like, I'm gonna snooze for a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
like, go ahead, dude, I got this. Like I'm
I got this.
chugging my Red Bull.
Yeah.
And so when you get down to up to the top, we start making our way back down. It's like pitch black. and there's like no lights, there's no shoulder, like no like guardrails or anything, but like semis are fucking whizzing past me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like doing like 75. I'm doing like 25. I'm like, I can't see
that's a
fucking
weird-
dick,
yeah.
dude.
And you don't know where the road's gonna bend.
I always have that problem. I have a buddy who lives in outside of like Scranton, PA.
Yeah.
So it's all back roads. Everybody's doing 50, 60 miles an hour, but I'm city boy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't go around bends fast because like around here there's so many deer
Yes.
that I'm like it's always like I'm like, go ahead, go around me. I'm
Yeah.
grandpa driver.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
care
Yeah.
because I don't know the roads. You
You
know,
don't know the
like
road. You
it's
don't
all
know what's
windy,
gonna
windy.
I'm
and
the same
mountains.
way,
It's
especially
like, nope.
when there's deer.
I don't
Yeah.
know the area. Nope, I don't care.
And
Yep.
it's a snowstorm. I mean, it wasn't like a heavy one, but it was snowing.
Yeah. Especially over there.
Yeah,
and,
you never know what the road conditions are. It's
Yeah.
dark out. You know, like
Yeah.
is
Middle
it
of
black
the night.
ice?
Yeah.
You never
yeah,
know.
yeah, it is. It's pitch black, middle
That's
of the
why
night.
I never.
Yeah.
That's why I never travel during the winter or until like
That is
like
smart.
May. It's just like I just don't want to deal with the roads. Like
Yeah.
that.
Well, this was spring break.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
it's
in my
true.
flip-flops.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, so it's like probably 5, 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Ian
Well,
snoozing.
Yeah. Well, a little before that, I
Was
want to
it
say when
like
you
3 or 4?
we talk about the shifting, the 4-wheel drive, the forward wheel drive.
Actually, I forgot. Go ahead. I
Yeah.
actually forgot about that bit.
Yeah. Well, you would, because it was, it was like, whoops.
Yeah.
I was like, we're beat, like we were living off of the caffeine and everything, and then we're like, the snow and the mountain roads and everything, and Tony's like, well, the Jeep's got 4-wheel drive, and I was like, oh,
I forgot
let's-
about this. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Go on. I remember
Yeah.
now. Go on. Go
Yeah.
on.
And so he's like, well, it's got 4-wheel drive. I'm like, oh, that's cool. All right, then never mind, I'll take a nap, And he shifts while we're driving in the mountains, but it wasn't 4-wheel drive. It was FWD. It was front wheel drive. And so whatever this Jeep had, when he made that shift, it all chunked, like the whole car,
Yeah.
like heaved on the
Yeah.
road.
Mm-hmm.
And little did we know it created a big problem. But at the moment, it threw everything. There was so much weight in the back seat. The wheels, the wheel wells were riding on the wheels because you had like a guitar amp, you had everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your
'Cause-
whole life's
and
not
on
even
top
back
of
to the car.
and there was so much weight from all that shit too,
Yeah.
because we also had something on the
roof,
roof
yeah.
too, tied
It
down.
was loaded.
But even going up the hill, we felt like the back end
Mm-hmm.
was like dragging a little bit and kind of bouncing as we were going up.
Yeah,
the
because
fucking
gravity, you know.
hill. Right. Yeah.
And so we had that like hurl, and we're driving, and I remember you're smoking a cigarette when we realized that the gas gauge
You were snoozing at this time.
was I?
Yeah. You
Well,
were
I woke up at
snoozing
one
because-
point and saw it dropping.
Well, what's what happened was that like I was driving and I started smelling gas and I fucking threw my cigarette out. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on? And I started noticing that my gas gauge was lowering, so I pulled off to the side and I got out and I walked around the car and I was like, I smell gas. And I looked underneath and the fuel line is just pissing out gas.
Oh,
and Ian
God.
gets out of the car. He's like,
Pissing
what's going on? I go,
gas.
get the fuck in the car right now.
we were in the Rockies, man. There was nothing. It was like one of those shoulder like emergency pull-up
Yeah,
spots.
yeah,
Yeah.
But there was nothing. There were
Yeah.
no people. Gas stations.
Just fucking haul ass in the dark, is going as fast as I possibly could, safely-ish,
Yeah.
to get off the first exit we found. Barely made it off, pulled right into a come and go.
Yeah, come and go.
Yeah, and we basically got right to a gas pump, and the car just fucking died right there. Like
Yes.
we barely fucking made it.
Coasting as much as possible.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
riding down. Like every
Take
chance
all
we
right,
could.
you get to hill, just let it go.
Let it-
yeah,
let
let
it
it
ride.
And the fuel was just dripping out. You could smell while we were driving, because you smell through the
God.
floor.
Oh yeah,
And we just coasted. It was Eagle, Colorado.
Yeah.
Coasted down Rocky Mountain right to Eagle, Colorado to this come and go. And I was like, what the hell did I get myself into?
yeah. At this point, Ian's like, "Fuck, dude, this sucks."
I'm just thinking that guy isn't a mechanic that said, "Yeah, the car's good to go."
He's like, "Yeah, I don't know. The short notice he gave me, it'll be fine."
It'll be fine. Yeah, they're kids.
Yeah, so we were like, well, we're gonna be here for a few hours. Like, we might as well nap
was,
it.
yeah,
So we pushed
sunrise.
the car to like a parking spot.
Yeah.
And then we waited there until like 7 or 8
Mm-hmm.
until we can get a tow truck.
Yeah. I climbed a mountain. I was just like, I needed to move. We've been stuck in the car and like
Yeah.
stressed out from this insane, ride. And I it wasn't like it wasn't the mountain. It was like a hill among the mountains. But
Yeah.
got up there to check it out and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Stretch the legs, yeah. And then
Yeah.
once it finally came morning, called the tow truck, and they fucking picked us up.
Yeah.
Brought us to like the mechanic shop.
Yeah.
And
It was a struggle though. We went through like a few mechanics and like we're not
Yeah.
open. We're not doing that. We're all booked up. And,
Yeah.
And then it was like I want to say like the fourth mechanic was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got you.
yep.
Now you guys had AAA, I'm guessing.
No.
Because I've had the same problem where I broke down. And it's like I call like 10 places. Like, do you have AAA? Nope. Click.
Yeah.
And
No,
it's
we were like
finally
mid
find
20s.
somebody.
Like,
Yeah.
No,
We
I did
were-
the same thing. I just bought AAA.
Oh,
as an
yeah.
adult, like
Well, you didn't even have a car up until this point because you were riding your bike, living in Lakewood, right?
yeah, because the last one shit out on me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then so I was like, until I get a new car, I was just riding my bike back and forth to work.
Yeah.
And all the bars were in walking distance. So I'm like, it was easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we were surviving off of 30 racks of PBR and Little Caesars pizza.
Yeah,
Like, yeah. Did not have money for AAA,
Yeah.
let alone a
Or the-
fucking car.
Yeah.
The car itself. But we finally got there.
Yeah.
And I do remember we're like, yeah, you got to fix the fuel line.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then they're also like, hey, the front two tires, like the treads are like they're wearing, dude. Like you can
course.
see you could see the wiring coming through it. So I'm like,
oh, okay, yeah.
okay, well, I mean, we still have probably another 1,500 miles or so. So fuck it, just
Yeah, you
fucking
might as well.
throw it on, yeah.
We
And
don't want any more problems.
No,
Yeah.
you have to make it there.
Yeah. so they're doing that. I do remember that there was a point where we took a walk and we were on some sort
Yeah.
of like
Higher up area.
yeah, which was cool. It was
Yeah.
really beautiful to kind of see that there and take a little breather and
Yeah,
let them
gorgeous town.
while they were taking care of that.
Yeah.
So we're
Nice
like,
guys. It was like a family affair. You
Yeah.
know, they immigrated here from somewhere, and they were all like, they were on it. They fixed this whole fucking car. You look at these pictures. We had smashed out windows, like the guitar amp bashed through one of the rear windows.
but
took
that
it out.
didn't happen until later, right? Oh
No,
wait.
those two bottom pictures are the same time in Eagle, Colorado. And,
Oh.
yeah. Not every bullet point has a
Okay.
picture.
All right.
okay.
So all right, hold on. So
Yeah.
I don't remember the window.
Yeah.
So was there some point where in the mountains
In
that-
the mountains. When the car did that big jerk from the the front wheel 4-wheel drive mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My amp fucking
Yeah, your amp hit the
cracked
window. and yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember
I
that.
remember that because when they were fixing up the car, they're like, we could do this and this and this. And we're like, great. But they're like, we don't have any windows. And so
Yeah.
you're like, well, let's tape it up. We got duct tape. It was in the tool bag. It was like a hammer. And some
Yeah,
Just duct tape fixes everything.
and that wrench. Those are all our tools.
Well, that's what we needed to do and to at least get by because it was
Yeah.
fucking cold as shit.
It was.
Yeah,
and we
no,
didn't want
I get
anything to
it.
fall out.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, Jesus, I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
That just was buried somewhere
was-
in the back of my brain.
Yeah, we just opened the window and just did this web of duct tape around the open window hole and got back on the road.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, they finally hooked us up and then we were on our way.
Yeah.
And then we were good through Arizona, right?
Yeah, they started getting fun again.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Weather was getting better.
Yeah, the weather was getting better. And Utah is so beautiful.
Well, before we get to Utah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so that's the
because
weird
we were Arizona first, right? Then Utah.
I want to say the route we took puts us through.
You'd be Utah first. I
It
would
would
imagine.
be if we followed this, but that's the weird part. That maybe you can remember because I remember we approached the Hoover Dam before Vegas, and to do that you have to come from the south. But like our routes should all come from the north. So somewhere we got lost in the desert.
Somehow we went from Colorado, went south into
Yeah.
Arizona, then
Yeah.
up to
Utah.
Utah, and then into Nevada.
Yeah, something
That's a
like
hell of
that.
a trip.
Yeah, somehow something got fucked up.
Yeah,
Unless
we
you
were
were
paying
stopping
attention
for something.
Yeah. Well, that and there were just such long stretches. Like you would go 15, 20 minutes before you'd see a gas station or anything. Like Utah
yeah,
is
yeah.
so open,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so we're like, shit, you know,
It's like
we're-
where they have to put up signs like it is going to be 30 miles before you hit the next
It
gas
is.
station.
Well, that did
so-
happen. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we're like let's fucking stop here because that sign said like 80 miles to like the next one.
Yeah,
Not
you're
80,
like-
but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, it could be 80. You know,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
knows?
we were filling up. We had a half a tank, but we're still stopping for gas because
Yeah.
it's the desert.
Yeah,
know?
you don't want to fuck around in
You
the
don't want to
desert.
die in the desert.
I do remember also in Arizona we did stop at some red sanded
Yeah.
mountain thing that we
Yeah.
climbed up,
yeah.
which
That
was,
was your idea, and it was like, yeah, you know, that's a great idea. You know, we need to get out and laugh,
have a
and
little bit of fun and
Yeah.
stretch our legs and
It's-
because we've been through misery all the way
Yeah.
up to this point.
And it was one of
Are you
those
talking
like,
about the Archers in Utah?
no,
No, it was Arizona. I
Yeah,
thought because
I
it was
think
like
so, too.
it was like a red sanded like hill.
Yeah.
And I remember I was wearing a plain white tee at the time because I remember when we got done, I was
because
like,
of the band.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're my favorite band, so
Yeah,
I was just
still
wearing.
to this day.
It didn't actually
He's
have
wearing
any
it.
of their logos or nothing. I was actually just a plain white tee.
Committed fan.
Yeah, I'm an OG. Yeah, there was a point where we did stop, and I'm pretty sure it was Arizona, but like I remember being like covered in this red dust, so we
Yeah.
actually changed, and then threw our clothes in like a bag, and then jumped back in.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I don't remember where that was, but I'm almost positive it was Arizona.
Yeah, it was somewhere right there at the Arizona-Utah border. I couldn't find it exactly
Yeah,
either.
I was
But
gonna say like Moab, Utah is like where they have the red rock type thing. So
yeah. Yeah, I found like some places like coral pink sands and like the red. I don't know, but it was just like 3-4 stories of like red sand, and we just parked illegally, like just blocking the entrance. We're like, we got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, let's
Yeah.
run up there and
Yeah,
Just
why
to do
not?
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was such bad because we were so damn dirty. Like,
Yeah.
we were just covered in red sand. It was everywhere.
So then it's Utah,
Yeah, which was crazy.
dude. So we
did,
had our
did
fun.
that happen? Was it real? Was it a mirage?
No,
It was real.
it was real.
I can't believe it still.
You know what's really funny is that like last year or something, I was going through some like old boxes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just a bunch of different like papers and what have yous are in there. And I found a piece of paper that actually had like the guy's like email address
Oh,
and
no
stuff.
way.
Yeah, yeah.
What was his name?
I don't remember. I have it here.
Yeah.
I'll,
gotta
like
find
I'll have to go back through and like
Yeah.
when I find it again, I'll
I'm
fucking
not sure
take
he
a
was
photo.
a real person.
Well, there was multiple fellas. Well, we'll get there.
Yeah.
So we had our fun in Arizona. We continue on. Things
Yeah.
are going good. We're rocking
We're
out
almost
to our,
there.
our punk rock shit. We're
Yeah.
we're on our way.
We're almost there.
So we get into Utah and we're cruising along, and then I smell gas again,
Yeah.
Oh god.
and I'm like, what the fuck? So
So we
we
smell it even stronger now
Yeah.
because the window's gone.
Yeah, it's true.
and so we get out of the car, and then this is where I think where you did notice that it was like going down again.
Yeah.
And then so we got out and we looked at the fuel line because it just happened. Sure as shit, it like the car like had bumped at some point and like
Yeah.
fucking ripped another hole in this new fuel line that we just got
Yeah.
like
Just replaced it.
in Colorado.
Well,
'Cause it was
I
so
figured
fucking
it out.
heavy.
Yeah, it was so heavy. And we were just driving down, and I think it was probably like the hilly area by the dunes and whatnot. And
Probably.
yeah, and we didn't know it at the time, but it is the scariest thing. It's not even like a real highway. It is like paved road, like and just desert.
Yeah,
And you see
all
that
the way
fuel
around.
line going down, and it was the scariest thing in my life.
Yep.
And
So again, we hauled ass
hauled ass
and
as far as we could.
Fucking luckily found a gas station.
Yeah, like a gas station / motel.
Yeah.
And they had like some wigwams.
They had, and there
teepees.
was like a mechanic shop there.
Yeah.
Real quick, can you
Yeah,
give
for
me a
sure.
little bit,
Yeah.
Tomboy? How you doing over there?
I'm good.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I do. Let me stretch this over here a little bit more. I do remember there being like, we're like, oh sweet, like this gas station like also has like a mechanic shop. This is perfect.
Yeah. Except it was like a Sunday or something like that.
So it
Yeah.
was a Friday afternoon,
okay.
but it was like or evening. It was like 6:30.
Yeah.
So
And when-
everybody's like closed after the lights.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. We got there and we went into like the gas station. We're like, hey, like, is there anybody here for the mechanic shop? They go, oh, no one goes. Or like everyone goes home at 5
Yeah.
for the weekend, so you're fucked. And there's like no hotels or anything at this time. I'm like, motherfucker.
And based at how fast that gas poured out of the tank, there was no way we were topping it off and like going on.
No,
yeah,
it
there's
was-
no
it
fucking way.
You
Yeah.
put the gas in and it's coming right
That's
out.
only
Right.
if you have to go like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we started calling rental cars. We're like, Enterprise will pick you up.
This is the point where I think you were finally had like your breakdown.
Oh yeah,
I
It
was-
it was in the middle of fucking. It was like
Yeah.
a Fear and Loathing Las Vegas thing.
We didn't know like what the fuck we were gonna do. We had no mechanic. We
Yeah.
had nothing to like buy to fix. We can't get to an auto zone.
Right.
We were too far away from like the Flagstaff Enterprise, which was like the closest one or something, and they were like, "Yo, you're like 3 miles too far for our pickup route,
Oh,
so
that sounds
yeah,
the
we
worst.
won't get you."
Yeah.
And we couldn't get anybody to tow us or anything. We were stranded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where I got real sad here for a hot minute, but Ian was like really worked up at this point. And you're like, dude, I'm going to get a fucking rental car and I'm
Yeah.
getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? You can't leave me here. And he's like, dude, this is supposed to be fun. And we should have been here like 4
We're gonna
days.
die in this
Like,
desert.
This is the point in the movie where like all is lost.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
where the two
Harry
best
and
friends
Lloyd.
start
Yeah.
fighting each
Yep.
other.
Yep.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the part where you drove that far in the wrong direction. This is
Yes,
this is
that's
this-
probably how we got there in the first place. The wrong direction. But
yeah. This is that point in the trip.
Yeah.
We were
And-
driving some hours the wrong way.
Yeah, and then eventually Ian cooled down, and I was like, I had the hood up again,
Yeah.
which I was calling the bat signal, and
Yeah. Coming back over.
we're trying to brainstorm on what to do
Because all the options were gone.
I even
was
tried.
nothing.
Yeah, I called
Yeah.
LaRouche too. While you were trying to call
Yeah.
for rental cars, or
Yeah.
whatever, I called LaRouche and I was like, "Hey, here's the sitch.
Yeah.
We're fucked in Utah. Not Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. We're fucked in Utah.
Yeah.
And
sequel.
yeah, and I'm like, and he's in about 45 minutes north of LA, California, right? So I'm like,
Okay.
dude, I'm like, can you do anything? Like, or what can I do? Do you know anybody? Like,
Yeah.
because he's part of the military. I'm like, is there anybody like in Utah that you know? Is there a base? Blah blah blah. He's like,
Is there a meeting point where you can just meet me and then just
Yeah.
take me the rest of the way?
right? Like they just weird. He's just like, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
There was nothing. It was that
Yeah.
one building on the side of the desert, and we were too far from everybody.
Yeah.
And so it was like, shit, we got to figure this out.
And then our shining angel shows up.
Yeah.
And this guy comes over.
Well, yeah,
I'm-
a little bit sooner, but we were like, well, taking a look. We got under. I think you got your hands dirty first.
I was underneath. Yeah.
Because we're like, well, the gas is still pouring out, and you look into the car. Where's it coming from? Somewhere under that back axle. You
Yeah.
know, it's leaking gas. We didn't know it was, what it was at the
Yeah,
time.
we didn't know
but-
it was the fuel line again at the
yeah,
time.
but-
Yeah,
But we knew it was there, and we knew it was the gas.
or
and-
where it was coming
Yeah.
from. So yeah, I get underneath trying to take a look. Ian's like on the phone or whatever. This guy shows up. And he's
Googling
like,
shit.
Yeah, he's like, "What's going on here, boys?"
Rides up on a Harley. It was like a big, powerful motorcycle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like, and Ian, you're like, "Well, I think the fuel line broke, but we're kind of fucked because the mechanic shop's closed until Monday morning."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I've worked on a ton of these fucking things."
He's like, I used to buy these and race them through the desert with my buddies.
Yeah.
Like I tricked him out. He's like, I've taken them apart and put them back together.
Yeah,
And we're like, no way.
Yeah.
He's like, I know every part on this Jeep.
like let's fucking go.
Seriously?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna help you out. And it was around about then, he pulled out the beer. I remember he had this
No,
beer.
that was a different guy. Different guy.
Was it a different
Yeah,
guy?
yeah, different guy.
The polygamy porter.
Yeah, it was a different guy. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't go too far
All
ahead.
right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. This guy is like, I'll be right back. He goes into the gas station, comes back. He hands me.
Oh yeah, this is crazy.
He hands me a box cutter
Yeah.
and those those little clamps where you kind of
Yeah,
screw 'em
little
to,
hose clamps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then hands me like a Bic pen.
A big pen. He's like, at first he said it to
So
a guy
you ran
in
into
a-
MacGyver.
Basically,
Basically.
yeah.
the MacGyver of this particular Jeep.
Yeah.
And he was like, you need one of those crystal pens, one of those like hexagonal, crystal pens.
Yeah, those like old school Bic pens. Like,
Oh,
the-
yeah,
the,
yeah,
clear,
yeah,
the
yeah.
clear Bic pens.
He's like, you got that? I'm like, no, and he's like, yeah, I'll be right back. He goes in and he comes out and he's like ripping stuff off of his teeth as he's approaching us, and
Yeah.
just constructing this apparatus, and then we did it.
Yeah, he's like, get under there.
Yeah.
Find where the hole is.
That's what you got to do.
And he's like, cut on both sides of the hole. Just cut that whole piece out.
Yeah.
He's like, take the Bic pen, put it in both sides of the tube, put it together, and then clamp it closed.
Yeah.
And then you should be good to go.
And I did it, and it was insane because it was
go on.
Yeah.
No, because there's another part to that, but go on.
yeah. So it was. I don't know if you had an aquarium before. You got like that thin tubing, the airline tubing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's all it was. With the fuel line went from the tank, and it was like a thin, tiny little clear tube like that, and it went right over the rear knuckle of the rear axle, like where the two parts meet. And whenever we'd hit bumps, it was hitting into it, and so it actually littered it with all these holes.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
it's rubbing up
metal
against
on
it.
metal.
Yeah.
It-
Eventually, it's gonna screw. Yeah.
yeah, just like that.
So, but the thing is that when you were in there, you tightened up that screw and you accidentally snapped that Bic pen.
Yeah, it
And
cracked.
you're like, fuck.
yeah. Well, I had to bite through the gas line first.
Yeah, and then so he pulls it, like undoes it, pulls out those plastic pieces. I go in the gas station and buy a stylus.
Yeah.
And then so he basically somehow like ripped off both ends, like bent it or whatever, the
Yeah.
rubbers off, and then I got under there, put it in there, put it together, and just gas fucking all
Yeah.
over me, dude.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then
It was so
while
gross.
while I was under there,
And dirt and sand and
oh
and
god, yeah,
grease.
just disgusting. At that point, while I was under there, that's when that older gent came over and was like, "Hey,
Oh,
what's
yeah.
going on here?"
That's right. We came out from under the car.
And then, well, I was still under there, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're telling what was going on, and
Yeah.
they're bullshit." And then he's like, "Oh, hold on a second. And he comes over, and he's got a few beers, and he's like, "You guys want a beer?" And we're like, "Oh my god, yes! I haven't had beer in days. Yes, please."
yeah,
And then, and I remember even
it was
when,
like a champagne moment.
yeah, and when you're drinking it, I was still under there. I like looked under the car, and I was like, "Hey, what's that taste like?" And you're like, "It's delicious." So I was like, "Slow down, tell me in detail. How delicious is that beer right now?"
Yeah.
And then so we got it clamped, had the beer. I went
Yeah.
and whore bathed in the bathroom because I was covered in fucking gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we
So
bullshit those guys for a few minutes,
Yeah. Oh, I
exchange
remember-
emails.
I had a picture of the beer for a minute there. It was a very Utah beer. It was called Polygamy Porter. I remember it had like a purple label, and there was like a bunch of like people hooking up, you know,
Nice.
on the thing.
Is it, do you think they still make that?
I don't know.
Tomboy, can you
Alright.
can you look for that?
Polygamy Porter.
Polygamy Porter.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a thing. And listen, I'm not really a big porter guy,
Yeah.
but if we can find that somewhere, because I mean, there is the liquor store over here that
toasted
will
it.
order shit.
Yeah.
If they can get it, I'll buy us a 6-pack just
Let's
so
do
we
it.
can fucking
Yeah,
drink
relive
it.
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, So let's see here.
On the side of the highway, though.
Yeah. People are gonna be giving us money. We're
Yeah.
like, oh no, we're
No,
just
no,
here to
no.
drink,
Oh, yeah.
dude.
It definitely is a thing. I got it, pulled it over here.
Yeah, I remember
That's
that.
it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Screenshot that and
will.
send that to me.
Yeah. That was the
Um,
beer we were drinking there.
That was it,
And
dude.
it was it's just such a triumph. It was
UtahBeers.com.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. All right, well, there you go, guys. You guys are any drinkers like the porters?
Yeah.
Try that polygamy porter.
It was good.
What's
As I
the
recall.
what's the
brewing company?
yeah?
Uh,
Did you already back out?
Nope. I was sending you the thing.
No.
Wasatch?
Wasatch.
Wasatch?
Yeah, Wasatch.
I don't know.
Sounds like a
Just look up
Massachusetts
polygamy porter.
Yeah.
Maybe you try it. It was probably what I remember was being delicious, but
Yeah.
also just because we were fucked in all ends and haven't had alcohol in days. So
Yeah, and we were at our lowest low. I thought it was low when we were biker Scots with the bags of bullets.
yeah, dude.
But this was the bottom. And yeah, it just felt so good to have that beer.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And,
And,
it was all gonna be all right.
yeah.
We're cheersing and like we got it.
we got it. We're fine.
It's all gonna be
Yeah,
good.
like what could
We
we're
were
good to
wrong.
go. We're almost there. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah,
we're
we're-
good, dude. We
we're
fixed
up,
it.
yeah.
This. We're good,
We're
man.
California's doorstep.
Yeah, we're almost
It's
there.
Yeah. Oh no.
Boy, were we wrong.
Oh, so wrong.
Let's see. So we're cruising.
Yeah.
Then we get through Nevada.
Yeah. Somewhere in Utah was the Danger Dog. You're asking about the Danger
Oh,
Dog.
oh yeah. Let's circle back to
All
that.
right,
So
yeah.
the Danger Dog.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that gas station, or was it that gas station?
It was like one of those ones we stopped at for emergency gas.
okay.
I was like feeling kind of hungry, you know, we haven't eaten in a while, you know.
Next
no
gas
hot
station's
food.
100 miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's check out the hot dog roller.
Yeah. And then there was this.
This is a terrible idea.
It
Dude,
is, but
yeah.
when you're desperate.
When you're desperate.
Yeah, but Tomboy, I shit you not, dude. The dog was like a foot long, but like
Okay.
it's like a black dude's penis. Like it was so thick and girthy. It's
Encrusted with something. It was like all.
yeah, and it even says there was even like a little sign
Yeah.
that says Danger Dog.
It was like hot dog and Polish Frank, and then they're all like nice company cardstock, and then somebody hand wrote Danger Dog.
Yeah.
You gotta try it.
Dead
now.
giveaway.
And
Dead
also
giveaway.
we saw there was like this is also when Larry the Cable Guy was big, and he had
Yeah.
like his own like potato chips and stuff.
cheeseburger potato chips. I got
Yeah.
a picture of that too.
Oh, with celebrities had chips.
Yeah.
Like, I remember Rap Snacks was a huge thing.
Right, Rap Snaps was big.
Yeah.
I think those four dudes. It was like Jeff Foxworthy,
Oh yeah.
Cable
Rednecks,
Guy,
Yep.
and what's
guy
the
was always
potato
drunk.
the tater salad guy? Yeah,
it
that's
That's Larry Cable Guy. Yeah.
no. There was the older guy,
Oh,
Ron White,
Yeah, Ron White. He's
and
always
then
drinking and
there
smoking.
was one other older
Bill
dude,
and
Bill Engvall.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Throwback.
yeah, for real,
Yeah.
dude. All four of those dudes, I think, had their own thing of potato chips,
Yeah.
but I only saw the Larry the Cable Guy one.
Yeah. Cheeseburger.
Yeah, cheeseburger.
Yeah, it's fitting.
Did we buy a bag of those?
I think we did.
I think we
Yeah,
did.
we got a
You got
picture,
to.
right?
Yeah.
You got to. We didn't get the Danger Dog.
No, we didn't.
That was
no.
too
we,
much
we
danger,
bailed on that.
cowards.
Yeah.
We'd seen too much danger already.
Yes, we already had enough danger for
Yeah.
the trip.
Yeah,
We
you
didn't
don't need
wanna, like-
diarrhea on top
No.
of it.
Yes.
Because it was guaranteed. That's the
Yeah.
implied danger. Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically somebody that works there
Yeah.
ate one of those, had explosive diarrhea and probably vomiting.
Yeah.
That they went, I'm going to put a sign here for somebody else.
It's like that
to-"
asshole gives you a shot on your 21st birthday of something awful. Because
Yes.
like, hey, you just turned 21, so now you have to suffer.
Yeah.
I have to suffer. And
Yeah.
pass it on to your friends. And,
Yeah, but at least this guy was like trying to warn you, like eat at your own risk,
Yeah.
right?
Danger.
dog. Yeah. So then we're cruising along. We're like, thank fuck, man. We're getting so close. We should be there within like the next like X amount of hours to
Yeah.
like the day or whatever. And we get into Vegas.
I remember the drive. It was a beautiful drive because like we, you know,
it
we,
was fucking great.
It was.
Yeah.
Like the sun went down and the stars came up, and it was just big open sky, and it was just such a beautiful night sky. Driving through the mountains, and I remember, you know, just coming off that high. We're almost there. You know, we'll be there before morning. You know, we're gonna party more, and it's gonna be great. And I I remember this long winding road as we approached like the Hoover Dam. It was like this uphill drive, and you just kept getting closer to the stars.
I remember this.
And it was gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started again.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the thing that sucks too is that I had photos of like that whole trip, but I didn't post all of them to Facebook.
Yeah.
And when I was in California,
Put
there
them
was
on
a point.
MySpace.
No,
It was yeah. I didn't think about that for a second. No, it was Facebook at the time, but I had my like phone broke or whatever, and I lost a phone when I was in California and had to get a
Yes.
new one. So, and at the time, I wasn't smart enough to try to be like,
Back them up.
yeah, back up my contacts, my photos. So I lost all my contacts. So I lost all those photos. But I do remember taking photos of that fucking
Yeah,
that whole fucking drive up
Yeah.
there. It's gorgeous.
it was.
It was fun for a while.
Yeah.
For a while.
And
Yeah.
the Hoover Dam was kind of cool. You couldn't really see it in the dark while
Yeah.
you're driving, but you knew it was there.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
went down to look at
Yeah.
it, so
Yeah.
Yeah, close enough.
yeah.
Close enough,
Yeah. So we get into Vegas. It's getting to be nighttime again.
Just before Vegas in those mountains.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I noticed the dashboard, the fucking oil thing is now starting to fucking
God.
go down.
The only edge we hadn't been playing with yet. So. Fixed everything
Of
else.
course. Yeah. Why not?
Well,
Why
it's
not?
gotta- It's got to be oil. Ding, ding, ding.
So, here. So, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Smelling and smoking.
Dude, it's just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we finally get into a gas station, and we're like, okay, well, what do we do? I'm like, well, my buddy Chris lives here.
Yeah, thank God.
Let's fucking
Saved us.
Yeah, let's fucking
Good-
put
another
a bunch of oil in there.
Good guy, yeah.
Yeah, Chris McGinnis, love you.
Yeah. Well, we bought 3 of the biggest jugs of oil they had. It was
Yeah.
that bad. Like, the oil was so low, it burned through so much. Because the whole, whatever the problem was so bad. We got the biggest jugs.
Yeah.
The biggest jugs. And we're just pouring them in. It must have been maybe like 5 gallons in all.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we finished the last jug. I think we saved one with us.
Yeah.
But
Just in case.
it was a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
We're
was
not
the
there
thing.
yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we're like, holy fuck. We're like, okay, well, it's back up, and I called Chris, and I was like, hey, bud, we're passing through. Can we crash? Like, this is what the situation. He's like, yeah, absolutely. Gave us the address.
Mm-hmm.
We filled up the oil.
We're in like the southern fringe of Vegas at that point, and
Yeah.
we topped it up, and we're like, all right, we'll just pivot. We'll do this.
So we get over there, and thankfully we're like, cool. We actually have like couches to sleep on.
Yeah.
Like
I remember the drive there, the strip. Going down the strip was pretty cool.
it was.
It was my first time on the strip.
Mine too.
Yeah. The smoke got bad. Like you could smell it. It was like it was like black and thick at that point. I remember.
I was like, we're not gonna make it to Chris's house.
Yeah. Like it was
Oh,
burning
God.
as we drove down
Yeah.
the Vegas
It
strip.
was
Like
fucked.
oil was on fire.
Dropping quick.
Yeah.
But at least you were near a city where you, just in case if you did break down.
Yes.
You had,
Yeah, that's
The
true.
city
You were,
yeah,
you
that's
guys-
yeah.
at
also
least
very
that
true.
Civilization was there.
And there's also the thing too, because like, isn't it like if you're accelerating, it's like open, so like the oil's coming through, but if you're not, it like closes up. So isn't that like a
Yeah. You're using
something
less
like-
motor.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're coasting.
So I basically was like trying to do
Yeah.
that as much as possible
Yeah.
too, to try to preserve some of the oil.
Yeah, but then it
It's
got
best to
bumper to bumper as like we were going
Yeah.
past like the Taj Mahal and all that.
Yeah,
It was.
it got real fucked, but we made it.
we made it.
So thankfully, Chris, thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
He let us crash over, and at that point, we were trying to come up with a game plan. Ian was basically like, in the morning, I'm going to get a rental car. He's like,
Back
I
to
love you,
plan
dude.
B.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, I love you, dude. But he's like, my vacation's almost over. We spent my vacation working on your car to get here.
Yeah.
And I have not even seen California yet.
Yeah, I was just trying to sit on the beach.
So yeah,
It was
so
selfish of me, but
it's
like,
fine.
Oh, I don't blame
listen,
you.
I like
No,
yeah. We knew we were
completely-
gonna separate it.
right.
Yeah,
you know,
it's either
he was living
You're
there.
at the point of like,
Yeah.
I can go home right now.
Yeah.
There's
And
the
he
airport
was
is
in
not
safe
that
hands.
far. Yeah.
Chris was great.
Yeah, and the thing was, I mean, the game plan was let's get out there, and Ian and I were going to have a couple days in California, and then he was going to fuck off back
Right.
home.
Yeah.
But we slept for probably 3-4 hours. Ian was up calling rental places.
Yeah.
He got a cab, I think, or did Chris drive you? Do you remember how you got to the?
Yeah,
I don't think.
I want to say Chris drove me. It was to the airport.
Okay.
And I was trying to get like a big one because I had to take your shit.
So the plan was
We had to get the biggest rental we could.
Yeah, so Ian's goes, here's my plan. Call your buddy LaRouche. See if I can crash over there. I will take all of your stuff to that location. I will go out around California on my own accord. I will spend the night there for whatever night or 2 nights, and
Yeah,
then
it was
I'm
2
gonna
nights, I
and then I'm
think,
gonna
no?
fuck off.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll stay here with the car, and I will try to figure everything out. So then let's tell your side first. So
Yeah.
you get the rental, you
Got
come
the
back,
rental.
we load it up,
Yeah.
go on.
So I got there like right before the morning flights started coming in, and I got the biggest rental possible. I don't even remember what it was. It's like some stupid big SUV, like
I don't remember what it was either.
yeah, I don't know, like a big GMC or something. And we loaded it with all of your stuff as
Mhm.
much as we could, and yeah, I think we got everything.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because we couldn't take like any seats out or anything, but got it, and I got on the road and I started off to La Roche's, and you were
LaRouche.
LaRouche, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were left behind
Yeah. So
Yeah.
well, and so go ahead and talk about your experience. So you get
all the way there.
the drive was fine.
It was largely, traffic sucks in LA.
It does suck
and
balls.
so yeah, so that was a lot. Like you want to get out of the car, you want to be done with all of it. You've just literally driven across the country. I think it puts on here 35 hours if we did it straight, which we didn't.
But that was also not going through
Yeah,
Arizona.
Arizona, like we did somehow. Yeah,
Yeah, you're
But-
at
I don't know what the
detour,
fuck
uh,
happened.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
uh,
Again, the GPS was nowhere near as good as it is today.
No, God,
Yeah.
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't MapQuest, but it wasn't
but even then,
the
like,
GPS now.
if you hit dead areas where the
Yes.
Wi-Fi isn't there, you could lose your GPS.
Yeah, yeah,
I
you
know
did
that
that.
happened to me a handful of times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so packed up and headed his way. Traffic was terrible. It was really slow, but there was like good AC and the windows were up, and
Get the music going.
got the music going again, and got there and
So you got there, unpacked,
unpacked.
and then what did you do while you're out there? Because
Because
you had what, like 2 days out there to do shit?
Yeah, we had 2 days. They didn't have the pool slide going. The pool slide, they were cleaning the pool or something. It was drained. So
Of course.
shit.
Yeah.
The one thing you want to do while you're there.
Where's that pool slide?
I don't care if it's dirty. I'm going down it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I got there, we unloaded, and there was no pool slide or anything. I was like, it could take some time, and they were cool, and I because he was there with his son, and his girlfriend at the time.
So here's the situation. I forgot to mention this.
Yeah.
So some point in the trip, whether it was like during Arizona, Utah, Colorado, somewhere in there, he had called and told me that at some point in between him telling me that
He's getting divorced.
she moved out
Yeah.
because she did.
Yeah.
But I think at some point where he's like, yeah, like, my buddy Tony's going to move in. So like he'll help pay for the mortgage and blah blah blah, and
Nice house.
yeah, and she's a fucking jealous bitch where she weaseled her way back in because I don't think that she was like, well, you're not going to be able to. Then you guys are just going to go out and do whatever you guys want,
Yeah.
like and have boys' nights and have fun.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not going to
getting
fucking
divorced.
allow
Who
that.
gives a shit?
She's like,
Yeah.
I'm not leaving. I'm staying.
I'm not
out."
fucking doing
Yeah.
that. So she weaseled her way back into the house.
Yeah.
So already halfway or most of the way there, I found out that she moved back in when I thought it was going to
Awkward.
be him and I.
Well, yeah, the whole point is to move out there. Is
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
hey, I'm going to start something
Yeah.
new. I don't have anything really going on right now, but, like, I'm going to my buddy's house and living with him, and not, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to live with a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. But at
A
this
young
point,
family.
it was way too late. Yeah, we were in our mid. He was like a year or two older, but yeah, like mid
I want to say
20s.
his son was like 4 or 5.
And
Lance was no, he was like 2 or 3 because I was babysitting him for a hot minute.
He's walking
yeah.
and talking.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
getting
yeah.
started.
Yeah, I'd say 2 or 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all right, so yeah, you got there, and
Yeah.
so the wife's back in there. So
Yeah.
it's LaRouche, the wife, their
Yeah.
son.
She was like super nice. They were all great. It was nice and all, but I was like, I just want to take some time, clear my head. I want to see the ocean. Like I've been driving to see the Pacific. So we unloaded all your stuff, and I spent some time at Santa Monica. Just drove out to Santa Monica and spent the day going around, and then you got there.
Well, not yet,
Yeah.
but I'm just waiting till you. So you checked out Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Anything else cool you saw while you're through there?
Yeah, I went down the pier and hung out on the beach. Kind of did this and that. All the local stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then so you just finally got to the airport and.
Yeah, then my time had run out, and yeah, had to get going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So going back to my side.
Yeah.
So we pack up the car. Ian leaves, and I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what the fuck to do with this car because this
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah,
And-
you're gonna try and get it fixed,
Right.
If
so
you could.
right. So thankfully, Chris, his brother's a mechanic,
Mm-hmm.
so he's like, hey, I called my brother. He can come by tomorrow and he'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I could take a day, relax. The cool thing is that Chris and his girlfriends were musicians.
Mhm.
So it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
We were hanging out, jamming songs. I recorded a song in their studio. It was just a nice, after everything we've been through, it was nice to just kind of not have to worry about driving.
Yeah.
I had my first time of eating In-N-Out,
Yeah.
which was amazing.
It was. And you were content, like, just hanging out in Vegas. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm here with my buddy. You know,
Yeah,
we're
I was
good.
totally fine
Yeah.
with being there for a few days.
Yeah.
Totally content. But his brother eventually came over and looked at the car, and he's like, Jesus Christ. And I go,
It looks
yeah.
fine. Don't worry about it.
Heard that before.
Yeah, no, and he's like, so here's the situation. You can pay like $2,500 and we'll fix this, and that, and that'll get you. You should be good to go. He's like, but it's going to cost us much because we got to take this out and take this out, and what you need is all under here, and blah blah blah. And I'm like,
Oh my
I
God,
go,
this thing.
yeah, and I'm
Not
like,
this time.
yeah, and I go, is there a plan B? I've already dumped so much money
Yeah.
into this fucking car, and he goes, plan B is to just buy a shit ton of oil and then just put it in your car every 20 miles all the way till you get there. And
That's not a plan at all.
I go, that's cheaper than $2,500.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, he did it.
So I fucking hung out for another day, and then that's what I did. I fucking went to the gas station. I bought probably like 10 things of oil, and literally, so from Vegas to where I was living in California should have took me about 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah.
It took me about 7 to 8.
Yeah.
Because every 20 miles, I had to pull off on the side of the fucking highway with these giant semis like ripping by me, filling up, and then driving 20 miles, filling up, 20 miles, filling up, all the way to the fucking where I finally got there. So I finally fucking made it to the destination, parked it in the street. I'm like, I don't want to dump any fucking oil in their driveway.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was nighttime, and I was like, I'm so happy to finally, I'm here. I'm fucking finally here.
Yeah.
And chilled in for the night, and then over the next couple days, I fucking popped it up on like Craigslist because I don't think Facebook Marketplace was a thing at
Yeah.
the time.
That's true.
And I sold it for $500.
There you go.
So I actually made $500 off of
Yeah.
it, and I go, cool, here's my rent.
Yeah.
Because he was only charging me $500 to live there, so I'm like, here's
Total?
my rent. Yeah. Everything was included just in that $500.
Oh, per month or whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah.
500 a month, yeah.
That ain't bad at all.
So I was like, here's a
Yeah.
month's rent. So, and then my time in California was fun for a while.
Yeah.
How long did you end up being out there for?
I think 8 or 9 months, somewhere in there. And
Okay,
coming
so-
back still like later in the year,
Yeah.
I believe, like still in 2013, but just like much later in the year.
I was happy you were back, but I was also like, shit, all that was for nothing.
Yeah. All that, well, halfway through the trip, you realized that
Yeah.
Yeah,
the plans were all
Yeah.
spoiled
It
for
was,
that.
yeah, here's the situation. Had she not lived there,
Yeah.
while I lived there, it would have been a different story.
Yeah.
And also, if we lived somewhere else, it would have been, probably would have stayed. I might not even moved back.
Yeah.
But like I had a bunch of friends that were from Ohio that lived in LA and Hollywood area.
Yeah.
Plus I met new friends, so I was just down in that area. I was living about 45 minutes north of LA.
Right.
In like a very deserty area. So I spent more time down there, but it was just she really fucking sucked. Like,
Yeah, she was a lot.
you know, she the funny thing is that when I told LaRouche that I was planning on like, hey bud, I'm gonna be moving home. Like I'm done with Cali.
Yeah.
I'm homesick. There's not really anything different here than there is from home.
No,
Like it's just hotter.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are different. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean like it's all the same. I mean like especially when like LA's garbage. Like it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Hollywood's garbage. Just
Oh, I had
trash
fun in
everywhere.
LA, but yeah.
Hobos. Look,
Yeah.
it can definitely be a fun
Yeah.
time, but there's trash and
Yeah, it's
hobos
fun to visit,
everywhere.
but
I
not
left
fun
out
to
the
see.
LA
Yeah.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So after I ditched you, I was like doing the Chinese Hollywood
Theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that. I did all
Yeah.
the LA stuff. Forgot about that. That was a really good time in LA. Without you, I'm sorry, buddy.
No, listen, I completely understand. At the time, I was really sad. I was a little hurt, but
Yeah.
I completely understood what the situation is. I also have been upset in your shoes, being like, dude, I only had a week off, and we've already spent like 5 of it to
Yeah.
fucking, you know, I mean, we're not even there yet.
Well, and it was treacherous, man. You know, like in the Rockies.
It was
like,
a
some of
lot.
that
It
stuff.
was a
There's
lot,
a lot of
dude.
Near death.
there's a lot of moments where you could have been like, yo, dude, I can dip whenever I want. man.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Sorry.
Yeah, listen, thank you for sticking with me for as long as you
Oh,
did.
absolutely, yeah.
Good friend. Yeah.
Because there was a point when we were at that Utah gas station,
Yeah.
before that dude showed up, like saying like he worked on the Jeep, the guy bringing the beers,
Yeah.
Ian was ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a point I was like, if he fucking gets a cab to an airport, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
It was-
Well, yeah, you can't leave them.
Yeah.
You know. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
To say at the same point, like I would have been like, yeah, dude, go, because like
Yeah.
you clearly it's not what you asked for.
Well, that and it was like like we just need to kind of regroup.
Yeah.
If the car's this bad, maybe we need to get it towed. Maybe you end up in Cali next week. But
Maybe we
we made it work.
You know, one thing that we didn't really think of is just trying to get somewhere and actually probably renting a car,
yeah,
and then just fucking trying to just pawn off this
Yes.
fucking Jeep, and then just
yeah, we should.
that probably would have been a lot smarter.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, you sunk so much money in Colorado. I remember you're like the tires and they're
yeah,
like,
the
we'll do
tires, the fuel
Yep,
line, the
yep,
window,
yeah.
yeah.
Everything's new.
Yeah, it's all new.
Yeah.
You dropped a bunch of money
On top of all the gas getting there and
Yeah.
the oil that I had to go from fucking
Yeah.
Vegas to
Yeah.
fucking. It was a lot of money I dumped in there, but
yeah. The alternator too, man.
The
It was
alternator.
like $130 or something.
yeah, it was a lot of money dumped
Yeah.
into that piece of shit. But we have the story for today.
We do. Yeah.
11 years later.
yeah.
So I have one question because you have a photo of a car on fire.
Yeah.
Did that actually happen, or is it
Not
just
like
sort of
that.
like
No.
Yeah.
metaphorical? Like, yeah, that's
That's
how it
definitely,
should end it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Google image.
Okay.
But it was basically that because I remember like
Because I was like, when you're talking about the fuel line, so I was
Yes.
like, oh god, did the car blow up halfway through?
No, but it was the oil. The oil was burning.
Yeah.
It may be burning some of that old gas that was like all caked into the mud under there.
yeah.
But I remember it was burning as we went through the Vegas Strip. It's
Well,
like
and I remember like
glitz and glamour in our busted ass cars.
Yeah.
I remember I had like a lemon car. I
Yeah.
bought it brand new off the lot. 6 months later, I had to put a new engine in it. Basically, the oil filter got crushed,
Uh-huh.
and I was just pouring oil every day just to get the, So I know that whole situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like basically the recall that happened after, like a month after it happened to me. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But no, I know how you feel that you had to like keep pouring. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I can't believe you made it all the way to California doing that.
Yeah.
You
me
know,
too.
in that crazy highway traffic.
Dude, there was points where I was like kind of scared. I was like, dude, any accident fucking comes in,
Yeah.
dude, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And those semis, dude, they're just blasting by. And when they would rip by, the hood would kind of like
Oh yeah.
shake. I'm like, oh god damn it. Like I'm under there like trying to fill up the oil. This thing fucking collapses. Like
I mean, I got this,
You got a broken window.
2 years ago. I was driving out to PA and got a flat tire, but I was on the wrong side of the road where I was like, I couldn't get to it.
Uh-huh.
Like it was on the driver's side, so it was like I pulled off to the right hand side, so I couldn't get to it. Otherwise, I would have got hit. So I just left it go. But
Yeah.
I was just sitting on the side of the highway, and my car was shaking.
Yep.
Every time
Yeah.
I'm like, the fuck, I'm not even moving.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm
Yeah.
on flatland too.
yeah.
I had fun when I was out there.
Yeah.
Met cool people, had some delicious food, saw
It's a
some
life
cool shit.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. I mean, that was one of those things that I always wanted to do. Like growing up, I'm like, dude, California seems so cool.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, and it's obvious, it's nothing what it looks like on TV.
Oh,
Like when you're
sure.
like, oh yeah, we're in Los Angeles. Like, no, this is fucking.
Well, it's a whole like.
I'm not sure I saw
it's
any
the whole, like,
skateboarders.
Yeah.
Instagram life. Like I'm only showing the
yeah.
highlights. And
Oh
everything.
yeah, absolutely. They're not seeing
not
any of
showing,
the fucking
like,
garbage
yeah.
and hobos sleeping in the
Yeah.
doorway of a subway that's not open yet.
Yeah.
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 And I only saw. Did you see any celebrities or anything when you're out there?
Just the fake ones in front of the Chinese.
Oh yeah.
Did they-
not like
did
that.
they
I
harass
met
you?
Elvis. I met
They hear, like I know
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Jack Sparrow was there. Yeah.
They're famous for harassing people. Like if you're like you looked at me, that's $20.
Yeah. Well, they're like, you want to take a picture? And we're like, yeah, I kind of do. And they're like, no.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I got one of those. I saw this little person that was in like a kind of like a Puss in Boots thing, and I was like, well, that's adorable. I was like, hey man, I was like, let me get a photo, and he's like, sure, $20. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Snap a photo of you right now. Fuck off.
Oh, they'll fight you for that.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
No, yeah, the Chinese theater is wild. I mean,
Yeah.
it is just chaos of just people dressed
Yeah.
up as celebrities,
Planet
just
Hollywood there.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. But no, not that I noticed.
The only celebrity that I saw was. Did you either of you guys watch Supernatural?
Oh, my buddy's a huge fan.
Okay, so there's an angel character that shows up named Castiel.
Okay.
I was at a friend's apartment in Silver Lake, which is kind of like Lakewood-ish. And I was sitting there, and my buddy lived in Hollywood. He's like, yo, you want to hang out? And I was like, yeah, I'll take a bus down here. I was like, hold on, let me finish this show. I'm watching Supernatural. When this episode's over, I'll head over. And I go outside, and the bus station's right, like this bus stop's right across the street. So I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting for this bus, and I look over, and like, I don't know, like 1,000 feet away, there's like a little fish taco stand, and I look over, and there's Castiel, like with his wife and child, and I was like, no fucking way, dude! I just fucking saw this guy, and I was just watching him on TV, dude. And I was like, there he is, like super cool, like playing with people's dogs. And I was like, do I go over and say hello? And I'm like looking the other direction. I'm like, but the bus is probably coming soon. I'm like looking back and forth. And I was like zoomed in really far and just snapped a photo of him. When the next minute or so the bus came. So I'm like, thank God. Because the buses, they don't come around like super often.
Yeah.
So I snapped a photo, caught the bus, and then fucked off. But that was the only celebrity I saw the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Great
always
time.
weird to see celebrities because you're like, what do I say to the person?
Well, that's the thing too. Is like
Hey, I'm
I'm
a big
also
fan. Okay, cool.
Yeah, like I'm not one of those people that's like, oh shit, like can I get your autograph or
Yeah.
like I mean like photo fine, but like I would have went over there and been like, hey Cass, what's up, dude? I was
That's
just
not my
watching
name."
season 8. Like I just finished season 8,
character I
episode
played.
4. Yeah, I just finished it like 10 minutes ago, dude. Awesome.
Cool, bro.
Yeah. Can you sign my bus ticket?
Yeah.
I gotta trade that in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only celebrity I saw.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Eventually, I just got tired of it. I'm just like, I'm ready to go home.
Celebrities actually live in Hollywood, or if they do, they're just not around. Like
They're in
they
the
don't-
hills.
Yeah,
they don't
they're in the
go,
hills.
Like
Hide away.
mingle.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that like the area that I was in, like Silver Lake,
Yeah.
is like that. Also, like that Hollywood border. It's still kind of nice-ish over there. So it's like, especially if you're someone like he seems like a down to earth when he's like, I just want to go get fish tacos from this little stand.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm talking like a little stand. Like instead of going to some high ass fucking ritzy ass fucking
Yeah.
restaurant, you know what I mean? Like it seems like he's
Yeah, he's with his
Cool.
wife and kid. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
So it's, yeah, absolutely.
It's gotta be a good stand.
Right. It's gotta be delicious.
Yeah.
I did not have time to eat there because I had, the bus.
Gotta catch a bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tomboy,
You made it.
we made it.
We made it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a great story.
Thanks.
Thanks,
This is wild.
dude.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a story.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that over the last 10 years, I would occasionally run into Ian at
Yeah.
whatever it was, St. Patty's Day
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
and we'd be getting to a certain drunk point and he'd be like, dude, remember on the trip when this happened? And we were like, dude, we got to tell the story.
Yeah.
And then, like I had the podcast and I told him, I was like, dude, we got to do this.
Yeah.
And then finally got the free time. So
Yeah. Yeah. It was a
hopefully everybody else here is enjoying this story. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
you loved it, so
Oh,
everybody
yeah,
else
yeah.
does.
great- yeah. Epic story.
Anything else you want to add in? How's this? How's your brews going here? Like, you want to drop anything?
I don't have anything to drop right now. I
Not selling website,
no,
handle,
yes. So
Instagram, anything?
No, well, I mean, my handle's at Ian's Brew, Ian's_brew.
But it's EAN.
It's EANS, yeah. I'm just doing it as a home brewer now. I
yeah?
I was a pro brewer for a bit. I won some competitions, got invited to brew here and there. I ended up brewing at 3 different. I worked for 3 breweries and then collaborated with like everybody in Cleveland. A lot of good brewers out there.
You had
And-
some really great beers. I mean, I had them like
Thanks.
back when you were doing them at the house, and
Yep.
then also, what was the little bar that was right next to across from Nano Brew? It was
I
next.
was head
Yeah,
brewer
Bad
at Tom
Tom's.
Smith.
Yeah. Me and Gallagher went there to purposely try your beers.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was brewing there. It was whatever I wanted. The owner was really cool. He didn't drink, and that was actually where I did my second podcast. And it was a really good time, and I was really creative and having fun. And then COVID came. And,
yeah.
screwed everything up. Our A1C liquor license was up at the same time as our rent because we were like, our contract was established at the same time we established the business, and it was right then that my colleagues quit. They wanted better jobs, better pay, and the hours were getting really shifty. We're open at 7 and 4 and 2. It's changing.
Yeah,
every day.
because we COVID. and everything.
Yeah, and so it was just really hard for a brewery to keep it going, and so it was just kind of, everything happened at once. The house of cards came down, and the owner decided to close up shop, and then ended up selling the brewery. It's doing well in Cincinnati. They got like a new amphitheater on the side of the river. They're in like the baseball stadium.
Cool.
They got this big
Nice.
new distribution center. Same brewer. He's a relative, Sean Smith. He's a good guy, and he's brewing it down there. But up here, I last worked at Jolly Scholar like a year ago, and just hard. I've got 2 young ones, so my focus
Yeah.
is on the family right now. and-
Gotcha. So you don't have any like beers that are out there for?
No, no. Like years ago, Light Up Lakewood, my beer was on draft right downtown, and now it's just at home. Yeah.
Are you planning on selling or trying to get it out into like any breweries or bars or anything like that?
I think I've been doing like I'm a teacher, and so as soon as my loans are forgiven, I think I'm going to be freed up to start a business, and I got 2 more years, and then my debt's forgiven as a public employee, and then I think I'll probably open a brewery and give it a go because the margins are great.
Yeah.
And
I mean-
it's a good time and a great community.
Are you making like full size kegs
So at home I
or
do
just doing like?
the 6-stool size, like that smaller.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I was just saying, so like, because I know a handful of bar owners here
Yeah.
that would probably be down to
Have a
Yeah.
local.
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
do like
George
a
and I
tasting.
talked about it for years.
Georgie's
Yeah.
one of the people
Yeah.
that I was thinking about.
Yeah.
He would definitely like. He loves like
Yeah.
supporting like local people for their shit. So, yeah, I mean, definitely. Even if you have like one of the smaller kegs for like a tasting party
Yeah.
or, you know what I mean, something along those lines. Just that would be a dope like little Kickstarter. I mean, obviously, I
Yeah.
know you have shit you have to take care of first, but
Yeah, well, we're getting to the point. Our youngest is getting older, and so kind of getting back into brewing. But yeah, it was just really. I was doing a lot. I was the president of our brew club for a year, and so I was just overwhelmed, and I just wanted to find the joy in it again. So I stepped away and kind of I'm coming back. So
Yeah,
This
what
has
you brought
been-
tonight was delicious.
yeah, I was
by
gonna
the
say
way.
this was delicious. Which one was this?
this is a heavy Scotch ale with cherries and bourbon.
It's fucking smooth as shit.
Thank you.
What's the ABV?
9.5%. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
stuff.
It's-
Dangerously delicious.
thank you. I got this on tap. I
Not
got
a danger dog.
no Danger Dog. That could make a good beer though.
Actually,
Yeah.
that's
That'd be a good
actually
name
really
for it.
funny that you do that just for our
Yeah,
because of the story.
yeah. We could do a pizza bagel beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah,
yeah,
I've had
for
pizza
sure.
beer before. It's not bad.
Dude, I would love to try pizza beer.
It's
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Fatheads did it. Back when I was like in the height of my brewing career, because it started. It was a whole second career. I was working these 2 jobs. We did night at the Brewseum, and they would close down the museum, and it was
That's a
this
sweet
big
name.
charity event. Yeah, and so I was doing it. I was creating my own beers for and whatnot, and collaborating with others. And there was this beer put on by Fatheads, and they had this really good. It was you might have called it a pizza bagel beer, and it had like. The
I'll be hearing from our lawyers.
it had the basil and everything, and it just it was good in a taster, it was authentic,
But a full pint,
full
too
pint,
much.
Yeah, it reminds me of like back in the day. There was like a house party we went to, and somebody brought this shitty ass beer that had hot peppers in it. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. There's actually I have a photo.
You were stoked on it. You got more of them afterwards.
I bought a
Yeah.
6-pack of
Yeah.
them. Yeah. They actually had like a chili pepper like in the beer. It was
Yeah.
like basically a Corona style beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But had this hot pepper in there and like
hot ass pepper.
and when you drank it, it tasted like eating nachos.
Yeah.
But when you dunked the nacho in the cheese and had a jalapeno on it, like that bite, And
Full pepper.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that combination of the chip, cheese, and jalapeno.
Yeah.
That's what that beer
Well
tasted
said.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we'd be like all drunk, like, well, you gotta eat the pepper, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be a pussy, eat
Yeah,
the pepper.
So like the pizza beer is like one of those. It's great to try, but it was like only you could really, drink a 6-pack of it.
What do you mean, you?
I mean,
Only you
guys, yeah.
fires.
Just because I'm the pizza
Yeah.
doesn't mean that. No, I mean that sounds delicious for sure.
Yeah.
But I totally get what you're saying as far as
yeah.
like that could be too much as like
Yeah.
a whole pint.
It's like grinding up pizza combos and putting them in water and just drinking that. It's not,
sounds delicious
sounds-
and gross at the
yeah.
same time.
it's worth the taste.
Yeah. Excellent. Well then, what was your handle again?
It's EANS_BREW. Ian's Brew.
Ian's Brew. There you go. Take a
Tag it in the
follow.
notes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, we can throw that on the thing there. Great. Well, listen, dude, thanks for coming on. This was
Yeah,
a lot of
thank you so
fun.
much.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm
yeah.
glad that we got to like finally tell the story.
yeah.
And
Put this ghost to rest.
yeah, finally.
Yeah.
I think we're finally done here.
Yeah.
You can have some beers and re-listen to the story
Yes.
over and over.
Yeah,
again.
yeah. And now it's forever on the internet.
It is.
So we can always go back and listen to this whenever.
What would we? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to listen to the old Pizza Bagels episode?
That's right. He loved Pauline white teas.
You remember when you liked the plain white tees? No, I was just wearing a plain white tee.
That's right, Tony. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the story as much as we did.
Yeah.
Ian, thank you for coming on,
Thanks for
and
having
thank
me.
you for the beer. Feel free to shoot us a text. Tell us about, or leave us a voicemail. Some fucking crazy, wild
trip stories?
road trip that you had, or whatever kind of silly stories that you got yourself caught up into.
Mm-hmm.
440-363.
0121.
Nice. Other than that, you can find us on all the social medias at Pizza Bagels Pod
Pizza Bagels Pod.
on all the social medias.
Yeah.
I know I'm the fucking host, and I feel like I suck at this. I've been doing this, 75, 76 episodes?
Yeah.
Well, can I tell you, I suck at something. I thought it was also hamster. All right, I was
Hey.
listening.
Oh, you listened to it?
I was on the hamster, and I was
Yeah.
wrong about that. So
I recently just discussed this with Dan. I don't know if you know Dan Amador, but I was telling him like the same thing because he said the word, and I go, how do you say that word again? He goes, hamster, and I go, here's the thing, there's no P, and he's like, oh shit. He's like, wait, oh, he's like, well, I think it's because you're saying like hamster, but like that. Your tongue is flicking from that M to the S that's kind of
Makes the
making
P
that
P
P.
sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, hamster. I was like, okay, that's where it's coming from. But I think people have been doing it for so long, they just put the P in there.
yeah,
Hamster.
I made the mistake.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My entire life.
Napster, but no hamster.
Yeah. At Pizza Bagels Pod on all the social medias, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Pods, and all those other. Actually, I've figured out that we're on a bunch of other like low key
Audible.
I don't know if we're on Audible, but
No.
there's like one called like Vox and a few others that we're on that
Sweet.
I didn't even know that we were even on. Somehow we
Well,
got intertwined
Tell
with
us
that,
what
but
you listen on.
yeah.
Or what you want us to be on.
Right. And if you are out of the country listening, shoot us an email and tell us your story at pizzabagelspod@gmail.com. Other than that, I think we're good to go, right,
Yeah,
boys?
that's it.
440-363.
0121.
Nice. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Hope you had a blast. Ian, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
We will catch you guys on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.